It's a great day at the Academy of Scholars, and welcome to the Scholarly Speaking Live with Dr. Stacy Lambert-Johnson, Director of Student Success at the Academy of Scholars. I am Benny Crane Jr., the Assistant Director of Student Success. Today's topic will discuss why moms matter.
Thank you for joining us for today's live session. No matter where you're joining us from, whether you're at work or at home, we pray that you're having a great AOS day and hope that you can visit us here on campus someday soon. In honor of Mother's Day this past weekend, we are dedicating today's show to all of the moms who are the bedrock and the foundation of our families. Before we start, Benny, tell our viewers where they can access our live sessions once they're over.
As always, everything from this show ends up on our website, academyofscholars.com, including both the audio and video versions. You can also find the video version on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and Instagram. You'll be able to download the audio versions anywhere you download your favorite podcasts. We want to take this opportunity to say hello to the people joining us live today. As I look, I see several people coming on. I see Miss Lily there. Thank you. Adrian Shelton Williams, thank you for being here. Oh, I see someone who's been on here. I wish I could pronounce your name the right way. Your first name starts with a Q. Please give me a call and tell me how I can say that correctly. Thank you, because you've been on with us every week. I see that Miss Powell is on with us. Candace Gibson, thank you. Miss Hester is on again. Miss Hester, we miss you. We can't wait till you're back with us doing aftercare. The kids miss you as well. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Also, shout out to the people who are following us on our social media platforms. We appreciate you joining us today. Do us a favor and tell your friends we're on. Comment letting us know a saying or wise words your mother used to say to you for your chance to win a great restaurant gift card.
So Benny, this past Mother's Day was bittersweet for me because, as you know, my mom passed away suddenly in 2011. So needless to say, although I celebrated Mother's Day with my own children, there's always a sadness for me on Mother's Day because I can't celebrate it with my mom. But my daughter and son and grandsons, they made it special for me.
Great.
They got me flowers and balloons, and they wanted to take me out to eat, but I didn't want to be bothered with a large crowd. So I ended up taking my grandson and my daughter along with me as my assistants for a photo shoot that I did for my upcoming 50th birthday.
Okay,
yeah,
then.
I'm about to be 50. But, enough about me.
All right.
How did you spend your Mother's Day?
Well, first of all, Stacy, let me say this. I'm sure that your mother is smiling down, very proud of everything you've accomplished and you're still accomplishing. But Mother's Day was awesome. Shout out to my wife, Kyla, who gifted our lives with two incredible children. I woke up early on Sunday mornings, as I always do, and I'm sure she thought I was out getting a run in. Instead, I ran to Starbucks to get her favorite latte. Oh. And fortunately, I filled my car with gas when I went. Yeah. Who knew that by the week's end, how important that would be?
Right.
But then my kids and I showered my wife with gifts, and afterwards I made breakfast. I made my wife a blueberry Belgian waffle from scratch.
Ooh, from scratch. That
yeah,
sounds
actually from a box.
Oh, okay.
My in-laws live with us, so we were able to celebrate my mother-in-law as well. And what was really special was we were able to go visit my mom and dad and spend time with them for the first time since last summer. Despite them living here in town, the pandemic kept us apart. Wow. So it was awesome being able to see my mother and spend time with her on her day.
Wow, that's good stuff. So Benny, did you know that a recent research study showed a direct relation between the amount of nurturing a child receives and the size of their hippocampus?
Hippocampus, huh?
Yes, the hippocampus is the part of the brain that's responsible for memory. And according to the study that was published in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, brain images revealed that a mother's love physically affects the volume of a child's hippocampus. So in the study, children of nurturing mothers had hippocampal volumes that were 10% larger than children whose mothers were not as nurturing. And a larger hippocampus, again, is directly related to a better memory. So what that boils down to is a mother's love and nurturing matters and greatly impacts her child's development.
Yes, indeed. And Stacy, this is true in every community and nearly every species for that matter. Oh. What moms do matter. Right. And this isn't a slight to the great dads out there. Shout out to my dad. But what moms do can't be understated. I read a study a few years ago where a researcher was observing rats.
Rats, ew.
Yeah, right. I know, right? But their observations showed that rats with mothers that licked and groomed them the most often grew up to be more happy and calm, whereas those who were ignored and not nurtured by their mothers suffered more anxiety and were much more prone to disease. Now, this doesn't mean that we should...
Oh, we don't lick our kids?
No, we don't have to lick our kids more. What this licking and grooming amounted to was nurture. So children growing up having more nurture have greater mental health when nurtured by their mothers.
Wow. So we know that a mother's love matters.
Yes.
And one way that our mothers showed their love when we were growing up is that they gave us advice, right? Sometimes the advice was direct, like eat your vegetables, they'll make you stronger.
Yeah.
But most of the time the advice was indirect, quotes or sayings. So what I want to do today is talk about our mom's famous saying.
Yes.
Everyone's mother had a famous saying or a quote, or old wives' tale that they shared with their children as words of advice. So, being from the islands, shout out St. Thomas, I heard a lot of these sayings from my mom. The one that sticks out the most is, if you lay with dogs, you'll get up with fleas. It's funny because when I was growing up, I heard her say this a lot to my siblings and I when we were teenagers, and we would introduce her to our friends. And I was always confused and wondered, why is she saying this? She doesn't even know my friends. But guess what? She was always right. She was always right. Moms have a sixth sense that is like a superpower. But I think that's what makes us moms, so special.
Yes.
What about you, Benny? What famous quotes can you recall your mom saying to you when you were growing up?
Well, Stacy, my mother is best described as a strong woman of God. I don't think anyone who knows Becky Crane would describe her any other way. If you need to hear from the Lord, give my mother a call. When she calls on the Lord, he answers her call every time.
Wow.
So when I think of my mother growing up, most of what she said had this religious tone to it. But what sticks out most, and this is likely has shaped my optimistic, never say die attitude about life, was hearing my mother say, the devil is a lie. Now, I don't know if my mother was literally saying the devil is a lie, and that was her AAVE, or was she saying the devil is a liar, and I wasn't hearing her enunciate the Either way, my mother would not accept bad news. She believed if God is for us, then who can be against us? And as a result, she wasn't accepting anything other than good, because God will always work everything out.
Wow. So, Benny, let me ask you a question. What's the AAVE? What's AVE? Yeah, what's that?
AAVE, African American Vernacular English. To be honest, I just heard that term last week for the first time. But I think back in the 90s, they used to call it Ebonics.
Oh.
Right? In the early aughts, it was Black English. Now it's
now it's
AAVE,
African American
Vernacular English. Yes.
Wow. You know what? Your mom, the view that she had on life, that she was able to pass it on to you, that's amazing.
Yes.
I found a funny article that shared the top 10 sayings of moms. So I'll share that with you guys. I'll start with number 10 and work my way down to number 1.
All
So
right.
number 10, top sayings of moms. Close the front door. I'm not paying to heat the whole neighborhood.
I heard that one.
Number 9, do I look like Boo Boo the Fool? I don't know how many of you heard that. Number 8, top sayings of moms. Do you have McDonald's money?
It's always McDonald's.
Right, you all want to go to McDonald's.
The kids love McDonald's.
Number 7, top sayings of moms. My house, my rules. Number 6, top sayings of moms. You better wipe that look off your face. Wipe it off. Number 5, top sayings of moms. You think money grows on trees? Yeah. I know my kids have heard that plenty of times. Number 4, top sayings of moms. If all your friends jumped off a bridge, would you? Number 3, top sayings of moms. Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Number 2, a hard head makes a soft behind.
And some of them don't use behind.
Oh, that's the clean version. Yes, yes. And number 1, top sayings of moms. Because I said so. That's why.
Yes, yes.
Why?
Yeah. And for the record, those are funny things mothers say and not nurturing things they say, right?
Funny. So let's talk to some people in the AOS community and see what famous sayings they heard from their moms when they were growing up.
My family is from the Caribbean, and a saying that my mother used to always say is, who can't hear will always feel. And that basically means like when you don't listen to your parents or your family, there's repercussions that are on down the line. So.
My mom still says, you might be right, but in my mind, I am right.
Hear what people say, believe what they show you. My mom used to always look at me and tell me that I was a pretty little black girl.
Do your best. If you do your best, there's no room to complain.
The one thing my mother has always told me is you go where you celebrate, not where you tolerate.
Seldom visits makes for fond memories.
My mom still says, if you fail to prepare, then prepare to fail.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I love that one. So let's shift gears a little bit. Stacy, how do you think your relationship with your mother shaped the things that you did and said to your children, or maybe even shaped you professionally?
Yeah. Well, Benny, my mom was my biggest cheerleader and coach growing up. I remember specifically that whenever I had to say a speech in class, my mother would coach me on how to say it. She would start and I would have to repeat after her, saying it just as she was, right? Enunciating every word. She would make me say it over and over and over and over until I got it right.
Wow.
She believed that I had to be over prepared. And I think, that is what has resonated and stuck with me to this day.
Because that's who you are.
Yes, I over prepare for everything. Yeah. Anyone that knows me, they laugh at how, I plan and prepare everything.
Yes.
And it's funny because I never knew where that came from until I had to think about how my mother impacted my life. I mean, I thought that it was just a personal characteristic, but no, I got it from my mom.
Got it from my mama.
Another quality of my mom that stuck with me was her work ethic. My mother had 7 children, and I cannot recall a time that she took a day off from work.
Wow.
At all. Watching that growing up, made me want to be the same way. And I think that's something that I've passed on to my children because I definitely inherited my mother's work ethic, and my children are the same way. What about you, Benny?
Wow. Well, one thing that I remember most growing up was seeing the digital clock next to my mom's side of the bed set 20 minutes fast. And guess what? I have a digital clock on the side of my bed set 20 minutes fast. And I've tried sleeping with it set to the correct time, but my body hates it.
Wow.
So thanks to my mom, not only do I have an obsession with being on time, but with being early. And also, another thing is, and I would say that more than anything, my mother has influenced my relationship with the Lord. When I pray like she does.
Okay.
I try to honor God in all I do and say, because my mother always prayed that that's what we should try to do.
And if you need someone to pray for you, Benny's the guy. He can pray.
Thank you.
Well, what do you think? What's something your mom used to say to you? And how did they impact your life? Remember that mom is wow spelled upside down. We all know this.
Yes.
Please comment and share your thoughts on today's topic.
Oh, we have a lot of people chiming in today. I see that Miss James says, treat others how you want to be treated. That's a good one. My mother, of course, as she's quoting the Bible, used to say that a lot. Mm-hmm. I see, stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about, laugh out loud. That's what Miss Hester said. While I see Miss Gina Nolan, who is here, says, everybody is not your friend. That's a good one. Don't just talk about it, do it, Miss Abrams used to say. Tiffany Hicks says, if you don't have time to do it right, you must have time to do it again. Ooh, that's a good one.
Good
you don't have time to do it right, you must have time to do it again. That's a good one, Miss Hicks. Thank you. Miss Shelton Williams says, there's always consequences for your wrong actions. That's another good one. I love that. I see that there's someone, Miss Cash Crash says, I love you, mama, too. She's telling her mama that she loves her out there. So we appreciate everyone who's in there. This is excellent. You can give your child access to an exceptional Christian affordable education with the Academy of Scholars Premier Online Learning. Not only does the Academy of Scholars give your child the opportunity to engage in school at their own pace, but we also have a mom-approved comprehensive curriculum. The Academy of Scholars Premier Online Learning is the online school you've been looking for.
I hope you enjoyed today's live session. To learn more about our amazing school, the Academy of Scholars, please go to our website at academyofscholars.com. Join us next week as we continue our live discussions. Next week, we'll discuss why it's important to read to your children. Until next time, I am Dr. Stacy Lambert-Johnson.
And I'm Benny Crane Jr.
saying
Goodbye
and
be blessed.
Thank you, Mom, for taking care of me. I just want to say I love you more than anything in the world. I love you, Mommy. I love you, Mommy. Thank you for helping me be strong. I love you, Mommy. Thank you, Mommy, for my new phone. I love you so much. Mom, you're the best. I love you, Mommy. Thank you for all that you did for me. And thank you for bringing me to this school. I love you, Granny. I love you, Mommy, because you give me soft hugs. Ever since the day I was born, you helped me with everything I've ever done in my life, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I love my mommy.